Brett, we're back with the details this week. This is going to be the Myles Garrett episode here because of what he was able to do against the Chiefs. And I think the biggest thing, you went over every pass play that the Chiefs had against Myles Garrett. And the thing that stood out was just not only how much they tried to game plan for him, but they also tried to game plan to help out Joe Thuney.
Yeah, as good as Thuney is, obviously being one of the highest paid guards in the league and a Pro Bowl player for multiple years, he's in a little bit of a different world. He's blocking players with a little bit different skill sets and having to use a little bit different technique as he's on a little more of an island. As we'll see, I think the Chiefs coaching staff did a really, really good job of helping him out schematically, particularly in the first half.
Yeah, I know Next Gen Stats talked about one pressure that Garrett had in the first half, but 7 in the second half. Andy Reid said after the game that they kind of he took some of the blame for the third quarter, but the Chiefs ran a lot of plays. But let's get into some of the good things they did, and then let's talk a little bit about where they struggled. But I think the main point of the whole thing is the Chiefs were ready for this and they game planned for this. It's really hard to go against a guy like this and to try to have Joe Thuney, as hard as he's trying, stop a really, really, really good defensive end in Myles Garrett.
They did, and as I was watching the tape, just noticing how intentional they were about keeping him out of true pass pro situations where he's having to take more of a vertical set and he's really one-on-one in a true drop back situation. We're going to see they mix up the protections really nicely.
Yeah, let's go with this one here. Start with this one. What do you see from this one, Brett?
So this is what I would call more of a run action pass. Pacheco is going to come across the face of Mahomes. He's just going to give a quick ball fake. But what Thuney is able to get here is a little bit more of an aggressive pass pro set. He's kind of working more out at a 45-degree angle that's maybe a little bit more familiar with what he does at the guard position, as opposed to a true vertical set, which we'll see. So he's able to use a little bit more familiar technique there. And then they bring Pacheco across, and he's able to provide that little bit extra protection to give Mahomes time to throw the ball here to Kelce.
Again, one way for the Chiefs to kind of scheme this and help out Joe Thuney. Let's go to another one. Another way to do it is put two bodies on him.
Right. So play action, 7-man pass pro here. And you've actually got a 4-man surface to the left. So these two tight ends here are going to double Garrett. They're each going to take a half and do a good job of keeping him from impacting the play.
Let's see, the deep pass to Kelce goes incomplete, but again, the Chiefs putting a lot of bodies, a lot of hands on Myles Garrett. Third play here, this one is very interesting, kind of from the Nick Bosa plan. The Chiefs have gone against the 49ers a lot. Myles Garrett's going to be down here at the bottom of the screen, but he's not going to be able to impact the play, whether it's a run or it's a pass.
So this is a pin and pull or buck sweep to the right run with what you call orbit motion there from Worthy. And it's going to be an RPO. And Mahomes is basically reading the outside space here to see if the situation is favorable to throw the swing to Worthy. And what you have are two blockers here on the outside, 2 over 2. So it is a good situation there. And he's counting on Worthy to beat that safety. But as you see Garrett right there, he's kind of in no man's land. If you hand the ball to Hunt, which looks really good too, if he were to hand this ball,
maybe a touchdown. Yep,
it might be an actual explosive run for Kareem Hunt. It's maybe the second of the year. But Garrett is not going to impact this play no matter which option Mahomes chooses. If he hands the ball to Hunt, Garrett's not involved, and if he throws the swing to Worthy, Garrett's not involved. So, good job of making him designing something to where he's not going to have an impact.
Again, Xavier Worthy does the rest with the speed that he has on the back end of this play. And as you pointed out to me, this is maybe not even the perfect look for him because you've got an unblocked guy coming down on Xavier Worthy, but he's got the speed. He can outrun that dude.
Yep. Jimmy's and Joe's, not X's and O's, as we see there.
All right. A final one to look at, a positive from the Chiefs early on. What do you see from this play, Brett?
So this is an actual quick game. This is a 2-man stick concept on each side. You got a tight end wing set over here to the boundary. And Mahomes is basically just picking a side based on matchups, leverage. But what the protection allows for is Joe Thuney to cut Myles Garrett, as opposed to having to take the true pass set that we talked about at the beginning there. So he's able to just fire out and cut him, keep his hands down, and get the ball out quickly.
Yeah, I mean, this is, as you said, Brett, this is something you can do when it's quick and it happens fast. Not something you can do in the drop back game, but this makes things a little bit easier on Joe Thuney when he faces a very difficult matchup.
And the
So
Chiefs really haven't run a ton of quick game this year. You know, a lot of the RPO stuff, even across the league and really on down to college and high school, a lot of the RPO game has replaced true quick game because you're getting quick throws. It's just off run action. But maybe that's something you're going to see more of from the Chiefs is this true quick game where the offensive linemen are able to be more aggressive, fire out, and have the cut in their toolbox.
also a different way for them to utilize Xavier Worthy because you have to respect this deep so much. When he breaks out, he's able to get a little bit of separation here. So they've been using him more and more in that role here in recent weeks. Let's get to some of the challenges here, Brett. This is the earlier play we talked about where the two tight ends come and block Myles Garrett. The Chiefs do a good job of blocking him, but this does present some bad things or some difficulties on the backside.
So, yeah, anytime you're committing more players in the protection scheme, you're limiting the stress you can put on the coverage, the stretches you can put on zone defenders, et cetera. So here you've got 7 defenders and you've only got 3 receivers, really 2 immediately. Then Pacheco gets out late. So the Browns are able to have favorable numbers from a coverage standpoint because you're committing really, I would call it 7.5 guys to protection.
Yeah, so 7 versus 3. And again, Mahomes makes the right read here and sees Kelce on this break, kind of wanted to flag on this play. This is the right place to go to. But at this point in his career with Travis Kelce, this is a low possession ball, especially the way the Chiefs have had some deep passes and the wind that was affecting things against Cleveland. So this is going to make things difficult on the offense if you're having more bodies in there and more guys and more eyes on Myles Garrett. Let's go to this one, Brett. What do you see from this play? And again, this is sort of why when you're talking about game planning for a certain guy, this is what the Chiefs were looking at and what they thought Myles Garrett could do if they didn't give their guy at left tackle a bunch of help.
So here you've got a true drop back, and you see this more vertical set by Thuney as opposed to the first clip we looked at where he's able to get more of a 45-degree angle. Here it's more like, it's more kind of 90 or close to 90. And that's very, very tough because you're giving a lot of space there to Garrett for him to get up ahead of steam and be able to bull rush like he does there. But the Chiefs schematically account for him, obviously. They've got Kareem Hunt to his side, but what you get is a missed chip block. I mean, he whiffs, basically. And Garrett's able to get in there and bull rush Thuney and extend and put really him back into Mahomes' lap.
Yeah, this reminds me of one of those plays when we watch for Chris Jones, where you've got 3 different guys that are trying to help out on Chris Jones, and he sometimes gets to the quarterback anyway. Chiefs had 3 guys trying here and still did not work. Quick pressure on Mahomes. This is how Myles Garrett can wreck a game. Let's go to this last one, Brett, and kind of what you see here. Again, this is the danger if you're going to put a left guard out at left tackle and expect him to block an all-pro.
Right. So this is actually a clip from the first half, and it works out well for the Chiefs because the Browns are in man coverage and the Chiefs have the ultimate man beater called mesh, where the first read for Mahomes here is the back on the rail route. So he's able to get that out quickly. But if you have a situation where, let's say this corner plays zone and picks up the back coming out, then Mahomes is going to have to get his eyes back inside and read the middle part of the field for the crossers and the over the ball route. But what you have is Garrett that really just puts Thuney back into the quarterback very quickly.
Yeah, kind of shot puts him back here. If this Mahomes had to hold this any longer, it would have been bad news for him. We get another angle of it here, but this is the power of a guy who, has been doing this his whole career. But yeah, Thuney takes the brunt of that one.
Yes, he does.
So talk me through this, Brett. I think what's so interesting about this is the Chiefs choosing a left guard to play left tackle and really trying to help him. And I know Andy Reid was complimentary of Joe Thuney after the game for being, willing to do this and trying to do this. But it still shows that the Chiefs tried to help him out and tried to do things to make things easier on him. But even when they did that, it's hard to overcome these sorts of things and hard to make things right, even against a really good player like we saw on Sunday.
And hats off to Thuney. I mean, this was a tall task. I mean, he's playing against what many people consider the best edge rusher in the league and obviously sliding out of position. And as you said, the Chiefs did what they could to help him out. And I give a lot of credit to the staff because it was clear going back and watching the film that they knew how big a challenge this was going to be for Thuney. and they did what they could to help him out. But at the end of the day, you only got so many plays on the play sheet, and you're going to get in situations where you need to drop back and you need to, maybe just use the back not only to free release but to chip and put Thuney in those situations. And as you said, just a really good player that's very challenging to prepare for.